This is topic 5 of Module 1. In this topic, we review Module 1 by considering some of the core ideas presented in the hope that you are now better placed to answer the question, what is education? First, you will recall that the term education is used to encompass a broad church of ideas that we collectively call disciplines. In higher education, these disciplines include history, sociology, psychology, philosophy, and a range of others. As you progress through your degree, you'll find that studying education requires an understanding of each of these and more from a range of different perspectives or theories. These perspectives incorporate a range of theories, and in courses such as the one you're enrolled in, we'll engage with theories so that we can form our response to the question, what is education? Reflecting on what we've learned in this module, we know that since the earliest of times, theorists have responded to this question in order to better understand ways the field of education has been formed, reformed, and transformed across millennia. Studying these formations, we've examined ways they have shaped individuals and societies in particular places at particular points in time, dating right back to the ancient Greek philosophical schools to contemporary schools and formations. In topic 1, we discovered that education has 3 interests or aims. Technical interests and aims, where education is seen as a means to an end or a product. Practical interests and aims, where education is seen as a complex of practices or a process. And critical interests and aims, where education is viewed as a social activity, a political, historical, and contested act. In topic 2, we examine different constructions of the purpose of education we've missed one, beg your pardon. In topic 2, we examined different constructions of the purpose of education and settled on this definition from the text. It's important to have your head around this definition as you go into the assessment tasks for the unit. So education is the process by which children, young people and adults are initiated into forms of understandings, sayings, modes of actions, doings, and ways of relating to one another and the world, relatings, that foster individual and collective self-expression and self-development. As such, educational practices are orientated toward the good for each person and the good for humankind. In topic 3, we delved a little more deeply into the history of education to discover that it does in fact have a double purpose. Through our examination of a range of institutions, collectively called schools, it was evident that each institution was responding to particular societal imperatives of those times, and that these in turn shaped the practices that took place in the institutions. Many of these practices, though no longer imperatives of modern societies, endure, and we call these practice traditions. Understanding education also means understanding that schooling, as in the institution of schools, expresses a society's ideas and hopes about education in that institutionalised form. In topic 4, we looked at that notion of reflecting society in an institutional form, and we turned our attention to considerations of education as a political act. Again, reflecting on what we know about education across millennia, we can identify tensions at these particular historical interviews between the technical, practical, and critical aims of education. This was perhaps most obvious when we considered who does and does not have access to a good education at these particular points in time. Considering more modern times, we also identified tensions between theoretical approaches to the formation of our educational ideas and practices. And again, these tensions were identified most notably when considering the aims and intentions of the practices espoused by these theorists, and the ways they have continued to shape policies and politics of contemporary education institutions. To conclude this brief review, I leave you with the thought that education is always and inherently an historical, cultural, and political act. In the next topic, we will learn some more about some theories of education to help inform our understandings of educational practices and locate them in their respective practice traditions.